Hello, everyone. So we're gonna wait and give it another minute to see if anyone else trickles in within the next minute, and then we'll start the presentation. So let's get one more moment. Okay, I think we gave it another minute, so I think we can start the presentation. Um, and yeah, we can get into it.
Did you want me to share screen?
Either one. Oh, I can do it. Sammy, it's no
Okay.
problem. Yeah, give me 1 second. Okay. 1 second. All right. My bad. 1 second. Okay. All right. I will share my screen right now. Okay. So, click. Oops. What am I doing? Everyone can see me slipping up. 1 second. Okay. Hope that looks right. Okay. What am I doing? I am so sorry. I'm not used to sharing screen if you can't tell. Okay. I think I'm doing it right. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So, hello everyone. So, we're going to be doing a department spotlight through the Social Science Academic Resource Center today for economics majors. And this is going to be presented by me, Morgan, and Sammy. And we're going to introduce ourselves in the next slide. But yeah, thank you for coming out, and I hope you get a lot of useful information from this presentation. So I will go first. So my name is Morgan Jones. I'm a 4th year majoring in business economics and political science. And I'm from Sacramento, California. Go ahead, Sammy.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. So my name is Sammy. I'm a 2nd year economics and sociology double major. And I'm from LA. That's just a little bit about us. Next slide, please. So I guess a brief little overview of what you should expect from this presentation. In the next 30 minutes or so, we'll be covering the following topics. So first, of course, talking about what economics is, possible or subsections that you can take, levels of education, specifically within UCI, common career paths that you can do with economics and career development, and of course, helpful resources. Next, please. So starting off, what is economics? I'm sure many of you have heard of the common, oh, economics is just supply and demand, but it's essentially true, but it's a little bit more in depth. Um, Specifically, economics is the study of individuals or societies allocating scarce resources and distributing goods and services. Essentially, that just means economics deals with the production, distribution, and consumptions of goods and services. And so typically when we study economics, there are going to be two main branches, micro and macro. Micro is when you look at like closer, just closer look of individuals and how they impact. And then macro is just the overall, like more broad general economy. Next, please. Now, as far as subsections of economics goes, um, UCI currently offers three majors that you can take. So first we have economics, business economics, or biz econ for short, and quantitative economics. Um, so for starting off, economics, which is the major that I'm in right now, it's just a broad education that's more applicable to occupations within business, law, government, or even just helps you prepare for graduate school within the social sciences if you are interested in pursuing that as well. Then business economics, essentially the same thing, but it's just a little bit more management or business courses. So here it's a business oriented study that's going to be guided by rigorous logic and an integrative perspective of economics. And then last but not least, quantitative economics is definitely just more math based. And so this is best for careers within business, finance, law school, MBA programs, and graduate studies. And I know that even though it says like, oh, it's best for like these certain careers, because I did just take this directly off of UCI's site, you can really just end up in the same place with any of these majors. So please don't feel like restricted or limited. Like if you are interested in finance, like I am, I'm just a general econ major. But of course, it's still possible to pursue careers in finance. You don't have to be like necessarily just quantitative econ to do those kind of things. So please keep that in mind. Next slide, please. In terms of levels of education, specifically within UCI, so we offer a bachelor's and a PhD in econ. As far as masters go, we offer a master's in finance and accounting. Um, and again, there are just so many different fields and specialties that you have the flexibility to pursue. We highly recommend, of course, taking courses in other departments that you may be interested in. It does not have to just be economics. There's just so many possibilities, and we highly recommend just checking out things that genuinely interest you. Next, please.
Okay, so now I'm gonna get into the different common career paths, but just give me one moment. Um, 1 second. I need to fix my, sorry about that. Okay, all right, let me fix it. Let me go back.
Do you want me to share my screen, Morgan?
I think that would honestly be, yeah, that would help
Okay.
me because there's a lot of different common career paths, and I want to make sure I like explain all of them very carefully.
No worries.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So the first career path that we're going to talk about is being a financial analyst. And as a financial analyst, you might have to evaluate and give suggestions for a company's budgets, programs, and their performance. You might be assessing and making investment recommendations for stocks, bonds, and other security commodities. And you might just be more generally monitoring all the finances for a company or the department and help them kind of make very smart financial decisions. And then second, we have an actuary. So actuaries take into account different risk factors, and they use math and statistics to evaluate the different probabilities of adverse events. So if you're an econ major, maybe you've already had a class talking about adverse events and stuff, but you know, like these are like accidents and property damage or like a death occurring. So they're gonna an actuary is going to use these different probabilities to design an insurance policy or other models that can predict the outcomes of these events. And then we have a political analyst. So if you're interested in applying your economics degree to government work, or you know, becoming a political analyst is going to be like the best option for that. Like not the best, but a pretty good option for that. If something that you should consider if you have an interest in political science and government work. Policy analysts are going to be doing a lot of research, and they evaluate and analyze different laws and policies and how government programs can be used to evaluate or predict outcomes. And you might even help to be shaping different laws with your analysis. And then there's also a business reporter. So business reporters research, evaluate, and they write about companies' stocks, investments, and industry and market trends. So you'll be kind of involved with interviewing and evaluating and analyzing financial and economic studies and data. So as an economics degree holder, you would use your knowledge of business and economics to understand the topics you're reporting on and the context around them. And I think it would probably give you an edge over other business reporters in the field, because not all of them have this quantitative background to bring to the table. And then you can also be a data analyst. And data analysts collect, interpret, and analyze large sets of data to answer questions and monitor trends for companies that they work for. So for example, you would be helping a company decide on you know, the correct price point for a product or a service, or you may be helping them look for patterns in the web traffic coming to the business's website. Yeah, data and data analytics is a very up and coming industry and field. So I'm actually going into data analytics / marketing analytics, and I'm really excited about entering that field. And then sixth, you can also be an economist. So simple, just an economist is someone who studies the economy. So if you really love econ, just, you know, the nitty gritty of econ, then you know, you would be helping to develop and test theories, compare historical data, investigate current and past employment trends, productivity, wages, all that good stuff that we learn as economics majors. And you would just be kind of using that economic data to make recommendations or different predictions about the market. And then next, you can also be a lawyer. Lawyers definitely use their critical thinking and analytical skills to prepare for their cases. And there's a lot of areas of law that you can go into that kind of relate directly to economics. And that's like corporate law, tax law, antitrust law, medical malpractice, personal injury. And all of these kind of involve the application of micro and macroeconomic analysis. You can also be an insurance underwriter. Insurance underwriters evaluate and analyze all the factors that go into providing insurance for a business. And they kind of help a company to, they help that company to decide whether they should whether they work or should offer insurance, for how much and kind of on what terms that insurance should be, on what term. That makes sense. Sorry, I kind of said that weird, but it's like a person, it's either you're providing insurance for a business or a person, or any other kind of entity, and you're kind of helping them decide whether the company they work for should offer insurance, for how much and what terms. And then you can be a marketing analyst. This is, like I said, the specific field that I'm going into. And marketing analysts evaluate consumer behavior and market conditions along with data for companies looking to sell their products or services. So they might research possible target markets, market needs, the competitors, the ideal prices that they should be charging. And they might also evaluate what types of marketing messages will resonate best with the company's audience and consumers. And lastly, there's a you can be a management consultant. And management consultants work for consultancy firms, and they go into different clients' businesses and help them to evaluate their practices and performances. So they're going to be making different recommendations that are going to help companies solve problems, and also increase their efficiency. So for example, a management consulting firm might be hired to make recommendations about budget cuts for a specific company. That's just an example, but yeah, so those are the different career paths. There's so many more, obviously, but this is just, 10 that I found. Really, I think, awesome career paths that you can follow with an economics degree. I'm a senior, so I'm about to graduate, so I've definitely looked into all of these and kind of thought about what resonates most with me. And marketing analytics and data analytics is my thing, but there's so many different things that you can explore with an economics degree. And we can go to the next slide. So now we're going to talk a little bit about what you can do to contribute towards your career development and kind of prepare for a career in economics. So the first thing would be getting involved in research. So the social sciences offer that SAEP, which stands for Summer Academic Enrichment Program. And this is a 5-week program on campus that is for first-generation college students, and it comes with no price or no cost. It's completely free. And it offers kind of a really cool research experience. You get to work with professors and other students. And I think you get 8 units of academic credit towards your graduation from this program. So it's pretty cool for 5 weeks on campus, and you get to kind of just immerse yourself in whatever research topic you're interested in. And then you can also do the honors department. They have the different they have the honors research and thesis, which is like an upper division course that you can take at UCI, and that's kind of centered around research. You get to work one-on-one, like kind of with a professor, and developing your thesis. And you can also do Europe, which is the undergraduate research organized. Oh my gosh, undergraduate research. What is Europe? Undergraduate Research Organization Program?
It's a undergraduate research opportunities program.
Opportunities program. Thank you. Yeah, so this is just a program that's kind of helpful for students and helping them to kind of integrate their undergraduate studies into the research culture at UCI, and it kind of matches students and provides them opportunities with faculty. Lots of collaboration between faculty and corporate entities and government agencies that are partnering with this program. So it's a really cool. You should definitely look into Europe. I believe Sammy just put the link in the chat. Thank you, Sammy. And then another thing you can do is you can intern through the Capital Internship Program at UCI. This is UCDC. And you can also do UCSC, which is for the Capital Internship Program in Sacramento. And these two programs are very there's lots of different opportunities that you can take. They're very, adaptable to whatever kind of field you're interested in. There's lots of things with econ, poli-sci, definitely overlaps with a lot of other majors and disciplines within the School of Social Sciences. So we can go to the next slide. And then to continue with career development, we also have the internship database, which is on the Social Science Academic Resource Center website. And this kind of just offers a list of different internships that other students have been able to get. And it has all the contact information and all of that. There's a big a bunch of documents for different fields. And then the social sciences also offers the Social Science 197 course. And this basically gives you credit for your internship experiences. I think you just have to submit a form, and if it's approved, then you can enroll in Social Science 197 and kind of take it along with whatever with whatever internship experience you're involved in at that time. And then you can also join a club or an organization to gain leadership experience. There are so many clubs at UC Irvine that you can get involved with, especially to kind of exemplify your leadership experience. ASUCI, CalPERG, and Model UN are just a few, but if you go and visit the Campus Org's website, you can do a lot more in-depth research about, a campus organization that you want to get involved with. There's lots of, political organizations, nonprofit work, different things that you can get involved in community service. So I would definitely suggest looking into those campus organizations and trying to get in some type of leadership experience. You can go to the next slide. And then these are just a few helpful resources that you should be looking at for during your internship search, during your job search. LinkedIn is a very popular site that everyone uses. Not, I don't want to say everyone, but I feel like it's a common site that you would use if you're looking for work and you're looking to make connections in the field that you want to go into. Handshake has so many different postings for jobs and internships at UCI and outside UCI. I think we all get a free, or at least it's included somewhere in our tuition, but we all get access to Handshake for the time that we're at UC Irvine. So if you haven't used Handshake yet and haven't looked into it, you should definitely log on. I think you can just use your UCI Net login and it'll take you straight to it. And then the Anteater network is very important because you can also connect with alumni, you can gain a mentor, and you can search for different employment opportunities through the Anteater network. So that's a really good resource. And then also the Bureau of Labor Statistics, you can actually browse through different occupations on the website, and it will let you know about what their median pay is, what the minimum education is for that job, the job growth rate, and a lot more other things. So visiting the Bureau of Labor Statistics website is a really good resource. I've had to visit that website for class before, through econ, and I've also, in my leisure time, looked through that website. It's a very good resource. So we can go to the next slide. So does anyone have any questions that they wanted to ask? Now would be the time. You can use the Zoom Q&A feature, or you can, I think you can also put in the chat. But if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. Now would be your time.
If you also can't,
Yes, so we will be able to share this presentation. The follow-up email should include a link to the slides or a PDF form of the slides. What club orgs are you guys part of? You can, I mean, I can, I'll go, since I'm already talking, I'll just go and then you go, Sammy.
Okay.
I am the co-founder and marketing manager. I think that's what the position we came up with, but I'm like the marketing manager for a socio-political club on campus called the Anteater Civil Liberties Union. That's my biggest involvement. You can go ahead, Sammy, for the club part.
In terms of clubs, I'm mostly involved in women in leadership. Basically, it's a club for women in leadership. It's not just specifically towards business. It's also open to, all genders as well, even despite the title. I'm also involved in a CCI under the Office of the President. Um, and yeah, highly recommend checking out any clubs or orgs that you may be interested in. There are so many like social clubs to business oriented ones, career ones. And the question where you can find this recording. So we upload all of our recordings onto our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel's name's just Sark. So be on the lookout. It should be uploaded within the next few days or so. Next question, how do you start getting internships and when do you start looking into them? So in terms of getting internships, it definitely requires a lot of time and energy, just finding out which ones are the right ones for you in terms of like location, position, company. Morgan was briefly mentioning checking out Handshake, LinkedIn. Those are really, really helpful and pretty popular sites or platforms to use. And in terms of when to start looking, so typically there are just different internships that roll out. Like for example, summer, you typically start applying for fall. It really depends like on internship on each according to each different internship because they're always constantly coming out. And then, is it harder for freshmen to get these internships? I think personally for me, I feel like in terms of big like companies, they're not really looking for freshmen most of the time. But in terms of like smaller companies, for sure, I have been able to get a few internships as a freshman myself. I'm not sure if Morgan, if you've had different experience.
I think like while you're in your freshman year, it's a little bit difficult to be applying because the biggest thing I think when you're applying for internships is, I think a lot of these internships are sometimes looking for some kind of, either prior internship experience or like kind of related work experience. It depends on what kind of industry I feel like you're trying to go into. But as a freshman, you're still fresh on the scene. So I think it can be a little more difficult because you're not that far into your undergraduate studies. But I feel like there's no harm in applying, as like the summer after your freshman year. Definitely your second year, you should start applying for things because I definitely was applying for all types of things my second year. So I think freshman year should definitely though be a time where you're preparing a lot. So, figuring out what you need to do within your second year to, be ready to take on an internship experience and just working on your resume, definitely using the Social Science Academic Resource Center to come and kind of get some advice on how to even write a resume, how to write cover letters, like having all that information before you start the internship search process is going to be very helpful because it can be very daunting and there's so many things out there to apply for. So taking those steps to prepare is what you should probably be doing, I think, during freshman year. At least that's what I was doing. And I think it was better for me in the long run to not put so much pressure on myself to like freshman year I have to get an internship, like it's okay, like you can prepare and like get things together. you're still young. I mean, you're just starting out. So I think it's all right. And what internships have I participated in so far? So I have done, so I work in the Palmerage School of Business as a student assistant, and that was like my first work experience. And I've been there for about 3 years now. And I think last summer I worked at a nonprofit organization in the Bay Area as a marketing intern. And then this year I'm working working a SARC internship, which is really awesome, as a peer consultant. And then I'm also looking for other internships for this summer before I start graduate school. I'm getting a business analytics master's, so I'm trying to find like different things right now, just applying. But yeah, that'll hopefully be like a marketing analytics type internship. But you can go ahead and answer that question, Sammy.
So same, of course, this internship as well as the SARC peer consultant. If you guys are, I guess we just ended our applications for SARC peer consultants, but if you guys are interested, feel free to apply next year. We highly recommend for any professional experience. Both last year and this year, I've been involved with ASCCI, technically an internship. And I was also, I believe, an HR intern and a business management intern at a startup company called NSTEM. It's like a national STEM honor society, trying to establish chapters within schools throughout the nation. Was able to get a lot of good experience from there, and I actually found that position through Handshake as well. And yeah, so I believe if
Handshake is
those are all the
bomb.
questions.
Oh,
I
I was just
know.
saying, Handshake. I found my job at Palmerage through Handshake. I found my job at the nonprofit organization as a marketing intern through Handshake. LinkedIn is really good, but I think LinkedIn can be a little, there's just so like, I sometimes look because LinkedIn will show you like how many applications they're getting. And sometimes it's like just so many. And like,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are using LinkedIn. So I feel like sometimes Handshake is probably just a little less dense, in my opinion, and you might get a response easier, like that's just what I've noticed. But definitely use Handshake. It's included in your tuition and it's a great resource. So definitely
Yeah, I
use it.
definitely agree. It's a bit daunting to see, like, oh, a couple other thousands or hundreds of people have applied for the same position on LinkedIn, and I've never gotten a response back.
I
But also
know.
because I also don't apply on LinkedIn. But if you guys do have any more questions, feel free to just email us at sarc@uci.edu, or even on the next slide, feel free to schedule a consultation with us, either virtually. All appointments will be taking place over Zoom. And stay connected with us on our Instagram and Facebook to keep up to date with other events like these. I see we have a question in the chat. When do orgs have enrollment, or is it rolling? Typically, they're all usually rolling, at least for like the on-campus clubs or orgs you can join like at any time. Certain ones do require membership fees though.
Yeah. Or like, I know like mock trial, you have to like audition. Like some things are like that. Like you have to
Oh
audition and
yeah.
be like accepted into the club organization. But most orgs, I think you can just like join them through campus groups and it's pretty easy. And then they'll authenticate you and then you'll be officially part of the organization. You'll receive like sometimes I think that automatically subscribes you to the newsletter, or you can follow that org on social media and kind of find out about any events they have coming up or meetups or anything like that. So it's kind of just on a case by case, depending on the organization. But I know we're a little bit over. So if anyone has any last minute questions, now be the time, or else we'll probably wrap it up.
All right, so it seems like no one else has any questions. But again, feel free to reach out to us if you do, if you ever come up with new questions. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today on a Monday afternoon. We hope you're able to learn a lot about the economics department as well as gaining more insight on internships and potential careers.